I know. I don't need to bring it closer. Do I? Can you hear me well? Yeah, but like, can you hear me? Okay. All right. Well, thank you everyone for coming. And Mira, what's the password? 3, 2, 4. It's live. All right. Everyone knows that. خلاص. All right. All right. So thank you so much for coming. I want to start by thanking Abuna for encouraging us to come here today and actually get together for this session. النهارده, basically the entire presentation is just going to focus on simplifying this entire home buying process. It can be intimidating at times. احنا عارفين ان الماركت ساعات بيجي um, can be a little crazy and it can be intimidating, and this is why Shireen and I are here today to نبسط الموضوع خالص و to make this a little bit more exciting and a lot less stressful. Okay, so my name is Clara. Everybody here knows me, كده كده. I am a real estate broker and an interior designer. Before I start the real estate journey, I spent 5 years in the hospitality design world. بعد كده moved to North Carolina and I started the real estate. It's been such an exciting journey. And I always loved helping people and guiding them through every step. So دي بتخليها نبسط الدنيا وخليهم to go from just buying a home to buying a house to really enjoying their home. Right, Shireen, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Do you want me to do it here?
Yes, please, because it's live. So.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Shireen Magazi, or Shireen Moghazi, خلينا بالعربي. I grew up here in this area all my life and worked in real estate, started in 2013 after living in Dubai for 4 years and working a little bit with my family from Masr or in Egypt in real estate. I decided I think I want to do that here. So I got my license 2013 and started my own firm or my own company 2016 and just started my own firm this year. So I don't know, I enjoy it. I love working with people and learning about different areas in Raleigh and the local community. And it's just nice connecting with people in your community and seeing their dreams come true and purchasing a home. And I absolutely adore working with Clara because she's a wonderful, not just an agent, but she's got a great eye. And she has a great way of talking and dealing with people and explaining. And I think people are very comfortable when they work with her because of that. So she's great at hand-holding, and she's just a wonderful person with that great smile. So I'm going to hand it back over to you.
Thank you. All right, let's start. So our today's agenda is basically going to cover the home buying process. And then we're going to go through some tips and tricks of what to do and what not to do. And then we're going to just have a quick Q&A question. All right, so the home buying process, we're going to break it down to 7 steps. أول واحدة hire a realtor. Basically, لما بتيجي hire a realtor, you want them to have an expert in the local area. So عايزين نعرفوا ال community, neighborhoods, the Raleigh, what are good اسمها إيه? What are good places? Where is the areas where it becomes more appreciates quicker than others versus why you would choose an area versus one. غير ال expert guidance عامة يعني لما بتيجي تتكلم على حد أو عايز تعرف حاجة معينة they walk you through every step. They do the paperwork just like a lawyer would. They know where to guide you and give you advice فيها. Get a negotiation. So you want someone to be able to give you negotiation skills. It's not just about the price. البرايس بتبقى حاجة منهم بس مش شرط تبقى هي الحاجة الواحدة. يعني أنت ممكن تروح negotiate زي ما أنت بتيجي negotiate an offer من شغلك. It's not just about the salary. يعني إحنا ممكن offer just not the pay. You can offer your holiday. You can negotiate حاجات كتير. So there are contingencies that you can actually negotiate. You can offer repair requests, you can offer credits, you can offer closing costs. So في حاجات كتير the realtor is gonna go beyond what you're expecting them to do. غير إن في realtors كمان they again a lawyer, it's very confidential. يعني we can't share something that you would tell us with another community member. We can't share it with another agent or another client. It's very confidential. We are not allowed to give that information out. It's just you and I, we deal with it. غير another myth that everyone believes, we don't get to see any financial. So الفاينانشالز بتبقى كلها dealt with your lender. احنا مش بنيجي نشوفها، يعني احنا ما نقدرش نشوف غير اللي انت بتقوله. So just like everything, الحاجات دي بتبقى اللندر تبع اللندر. So اللندر ده هيبقى basically your mortgage loan officer. Your bank, the person, they deal with it. So you send them all your information. تاني step عايزين نتكلم فيها اللي هي financial preparation. دي الموضوع ده ممكن يكون مخيف لناس كتير، ان اول ما نيجي نتكلم على البيت الفلوس كتير، it's very scary, it's very overwhelming. مش عارفين نبتدي منين بالظبط. So we're gonna break it down just a little bit. أول حاجة بنcheck the credit score. What a credit score does is basically tells you how much you have been you're able to be الناس زي lenders بيشوفوا إن هما يقدروا يسكوا فيك to repay it. So a lot of people think I have to have like 800 score or a 700 score to it. But that's also a lie. You can start with 600, like mid 600s, and a lot of the mortgages actually approve it. So a lot of them can start around the mid 600s. Okay, another thing is know your budget. So احنا محتاجين نعرف البادجت بتاعتك قد ايه. اغلبيه الوقت بتبقى زي a rule of thumb كده، بتبقى 30% من your income. So you take your annual income and you see where is that, what's at 30%, and this is going to be your comfortable zone for your mortgage or your paid housing income. البادجت بتاعتها. يعني مثلا we'll take Sam as an example. He does about 80,000 grand a year. That's about $6,667 per month. لو احنا عملناها times 30% of that, that's around $2,000 per month. That's their budget for the housing. لو أخذنا $2,000 دول وcovered بقى المورجج، التاكسس، الانشورنس، الحاجات دي كلها تبقى حوالي المورجج بتاع Sam مثلا عنده دلوقتي car payment of 600. The loan officer or the lender will take that in consideration. They want to know how much debt you have. So لو انت عندك مثلا you want to علشان ما تتزنقش كده في اخر الشهر وتقول احنا عندي الدبت وعندي المصاريف في البيت وعندي كذا وكذا وكذا، فاللندر بيبقى عايزك تخليك very comfortable with how much you are spending. So they take around 40% to 45% of all your debt to make sure it's covered with you're not exceeding that 40 to 45% from your total income. فلو خلاه مثلا في 2000 ممكن في 2000 like $2,000 per month for the mortgage, that's gonna make Sam a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, he can probably get approved for more, maybe, but the lenders have to see to make sure your debt income ratio does not exceed the 40 to 45%. Okay, so عندنا حاجة تانية. When we're thinking about financial preparation, احنا محتاجين نعرف قد ايه نسيف. It's not just the down payment. A lot of people think mortgage, down payment, and that's it. بس الحقيقة ان انت لازم تفكر برضو ازاي تعمل down payment closing cost. You have to save like a little bit for the closing cost. That's another bigger expense that you have to like consider. في برضو حاجات كذا حاجة الناس دايما بتنساها اللي هي مثلا upfront cost. upfront cost دي بتبقى زي appraisal. A lot of the banks بتبقوا محتاجين appraisal to make sure in the house that you're buying is actually worth the amount that you're purchasing it for. عشان دايما بتبقى اسمها ايه it might not be priced right, it might be overpriced or less priced, so they would want to know where their money is going. So they required an appraisal. There's also an inspection. The inspection is really extremely important. So دي برضو حاجة دي الانسبكشن basically بتشوف البيت بتعين البيت. Basically they go inspect the home and they let you know what is wrong with the house, how much repairs you need, and this is when you can actually ask the seller to repair some or give you credits. So في حاجات كتير that you have to consider when you're doing, it's not just the down payment, there is moving cost. You can rent a haul truck. You can, a U-Haul truck. Or you can just hire a company. Those are two different prices. So these are things that we have to keep in mind, plus the due diligence fees. The due diligence fees is basically a deposit to let the seller know that I am serious, I'm a serious buyer, and أنا عايز please take the house off the market, and I'm showing my honest. So دي حاجة بتبقى non-refundable. Yani once you send it, this is it. And that happens right after the offer. So after the offer is accepted and you are under contract, this is when you send out your deposit or your due diligence. Okay. Third step. Third step is gonna be your pre-approved letter. This is crucially important. أول حاجة لازم تعرفها إن there are types of loans. It's not just one and done. لما بتيجي تروح تتكلم عن lender, there is a conventional loan. This is the most common one. بس برضو في حاجة اسمها FHA, في VA, USDA loans. الحاجات دي كلها, we're not going to go through each and every one of them, but know that there is different loans. هي مش حاجة واحدة بس. فلما تيجي تتكلم عن lender, دي حاجة بتتكلم طب إيه أفضل حاجة ليا ممكن أعملها to fit my whether it's my income, whether it's my situation, whatever it is. Everyone is very different in it. So the pre-approval letter is basically you take it from the lender, or the lender gives it to you after you after you provide the right information, like your tax returns, your income. After you prove everything, they're gonna give you a approval letter. بيقولك this is how much you are approved for. This is what the bank is approving for you, and you can go shop for homes now for X amount of money. ده بيعمل إيه؟ بيديك a clear budget. You know how much you have now. You have a buying power, and دي بتروح confidently. Okay, دلوقتي إحنا هنبص على بيوت X amount of money or X amount of price. So it gives you a lot of opportunity to see if you for example, you thought you are not gonna be able to get approved for $500,000, so that gives you an opportunity to look at 450 or 350 instead of like you thought it can only be an X amount of money. So it gives you a little bit of space and more opportunity. Vice versa, you thought you can reach so high, and now you wanna realistically understand where you are. So بتديك الsteps بتبقى clear أوي أكتر. بس فدي حاجة لازم نتكلم فيها مع اللندر أكتر. And then we go house shopping. It's the fun part, everyone loves it, but this is about where all what you are, the imaginations come in reality. You can have the must-haves, we do a must-have list, or I want to. الحاجات دي برضو مش بتظهر غير لما بتروح تشوف البيت وتقول لا الحاجة دي أنا بجد فرق معايا أو no never mind, this is I don't really care for this anymore. It's not that big. And then it also shows you like الحاجات الضرورية أساسية في البيت. You can go and figure out that this commute من البيت ده مش حلو. The transportation is very important. Your commute is really important. The schools, districts are very important. What is the priority to you? This is where you figure out your priority list. ودي very very important. طبعا في حاجات كتير online that we can use. Zillow, for example, everyone knows of Zillow. You can use Zillow and many other things. بس لما تيجي تروح على Zillow and you look at the picture, it does not give it justice or it just ما بتبقاش عارف بالظبط انت داخل على ايه لحد ما تروح تشوف البيت نفسه. So use other tools. Use open homes. Open houses بيبقى في ناس كتير يعني realtors بيبقوا قاعدين, an agent, they come in and you enter the home and check it out. Or you can call your realtor and actually just go with them house to be there present. When you see the home in person, completely different. It is very important to actually go see it. Okay, and this will just help narrow down the actual search for you. Don't forget transportation and commute is gonna be a very important one as well. طيب, after that, we make an offer. So what goes in offer? What goes in offer is not just the purchase price. So احنا بنشوف ال purchase price أول حاجة بس أو كل الناس بتفتكر ال purchase price دي أهم حاجة بس دي مش أكتر حاجة وبس يعني في حاجات كتير بتتكتب. So the purchase price that your realtor and you, well, your realtor actually first goes through a CMA. They basically find the nearby homes that have been recently sold, and they can tell you if this price house that is listed is fair or not. And then you agree with your realtor how much you want to offer that home, and you agree on that purchase price. فدي برضو حاجة مهمة جدا. وبعد كده برضو في الأوفر الدو diligence زي ما قلنا إن الدواء مش refundable, it's non-refundable. So to agree how much you are willing from your own money to pay that deposit that is not going to be returned. So it's quite important how much you are comfortable with of just giving away that deposit. It's gonna go back, if you end up buying the house, it's gonna go back towards the purchase price, which is great. But if you didn't, you lose that money. So this is something that we have to keep in hand. And we also pick closing time. The closing time is gonna be typically around 30 to 45 days, but we also make dates from when the due diligence fees are, just in case you wanna back out after the inspection, you have time to say, I'm not going forward that house anymore, or we're great, we're continuing, and everything is awesome. بس so talk to your agent about what possible حاجات ممكن تحطها برضه في الoffers. يعني مثلا they credit repair, you can get a request a repair credit repairs, or you can also get contingencies. So في حاجات أكتر من ال purchase price in the offer. Okay, our sixth step is going to be to set the date for inspection. As soon as we get an offer, or accept an offer, we schedule an inspection علشان على طول لازم نعرف ايه اللي في البيت. Why is this important? It reveals any hidden issues. So أي HVAC, foundation, any of the big ticket items, just like the roof replacement, الحاجات دي بتبقى مهمة قوي. بتبقى عايزين نعرف ايه البيت ممكن يبقى فيه ايه. عشان if it ended up فيه foundation issue, you rather know rather than coming in a year later and something happens and it costs you thousands of dollars to fix. So الحاجات دي بتبقى مهمة قوي ان احنا نعرفها علشان to avoid any issues later on. It gives you leverage to actually ask for repair credits, any negotiations. So وتعرف امتى عندك كده زي سلام داخلي عن ايه اللي انت داخل عليه. طيب امتى بنسكادجول الانسبكشن؟ على طول as soon as the offer, even before يعني انت عارف ان الاوفر خلاص هنتحط بنسكادجول inspection and we go under contract right away. The due diligence period is your window to inspect and negotiate, and if you need to walk away, you can walk away. دي بتبقى أكتر حاجة مهمة. لازم تعملوا الانسبكشن through someone that is actually licensed, مش أي حد وخلاص. فدي برضو حاجة محتاجين نعرفها إن الانسبكتور تبقى local and experienced, مش يعني حد يكون واثقين فيه. آخر بقى step is close and move in. دي أفضل حاجة احنا طبعا كلنا مستعدين ليها. So when we close, we sign in the paper, we finalize the loan, all the document, and then the deed is transferred. The deed ده basically العقد بتاع البيت. And we pay the closing cost. It's usually again 2 to 5% of the purchase price, and you get the keys after the deed is recorded. So أول بس they register it, we are ready to go. You have your keys. You can do whatever you need to do with your house. Congratulations. After the closing, you move in, you schedule every bad thing. You change your address in DMV, you plan your maintenance, you start setting up your cable and electricity, etc. So دي بقى بتبقى كلها حاجات أول ما تاخد الكيس تبتدي بقى إيه نبتدي نظبط التفاصيل الصغيرة change your locks, etc. Change your locks. It's very important. Change your locks. Sounds like someone هنا أخد. Oh no. Okay. Just to summarize everything. First of all, you hire a realtor. You financially prepare. This can be very different from everyone, and why we say that is if you want again to plan for next year to buy a home, this is when you are ready to start preparing your financials. And then 3, you get a pre-approval letter, and 4, you go house hunting, make an offer, schedule the inspection, and then close on your home. That's some do and don'ts. Okay, so get pre-approval before shopping. It's a must. You can't go house shopping without an actual pre-approval. I'm not going to be able to actually show you the home without that letter because I'm not going to be able to make an offer without that letter. So دي حاجات مهمة جدا 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 لازم نعرفها. تاني حاجة لازم نبudget before not just the down payment, we have to budget beyond the down payment. So زي ما احنا اتكلمنا في closing cost, due diligence وال upfront cost. Work with your realtor. Rely on expert guidance and comps and negotiations. دي مهمة برضو قوي. Talk to us. We're here to help you. We're gonna be best friends. It's okay. We're gonna be there for you. You're gonna be there. Don't worry about it. You can ask questions as much as you can. We're there for you. And then, okay, don'ts. Do not make any big purchases right before. Don't buy a car right before it. Don't buy furniture right before it. الحاجات دي عشان انت you are applying for a loan, so you want to be very sensitive to that time. So do not buy any big purchases during that time. Don't open new credit cards or new lines around that time. الكريدت زي ما احنا قلنا الكريدت سكور بيبقى مهم فعشان كده we can't open another credit line. ده بيأثر على الكريدت سكور. So خلينا those are sensitive topics. Don't skip on communication. You want your lender and your realtor to be involved in anything that happens. فالcommunication دي مع lender and your realtor is quite a key. All right, and finally, here are some recent clients that we have closed homes with. Just to recap, the right home is a perfect fit for your lifestyle. It's a confident decision, and we guide you every step of the way. It is a smart investment with the right negotiation that will protect you. So just to sum everything up. All right, we have a Q&A. You can scan the code and actually we'll have it here with us. Or you can actually just, let's see, you can just ask here right now.
Are there any questions on that?
So I have it up, so if anybody wants to, so we have here, when is a good time to buy a home? Do you want to start? You want to come?
No.
Okay. We have one question, when is a good time to buy a home? So a good time to buy a home is, it just depends on your lifestyle. There's no perfect timing. Yani, when do you need it? Is there something that you want it now versus a year later? Are you ready? Are you financially prepared? Is everything gonna be able to follow the steps each and every time? يعني كل واحدة, like, we can check mark these. And then when the first step, when you're talking to your realtor and you're planning to do it, we can sit with you and ask you, like, إيه الناقص؟ إيه أهم حاجة؟ what is the most important thing to you? There is a reason why you're buying home. Whether it's an investment, whether it's a relocation, there's a reason for it. So there's no perfect answer to that. I would say just know your whys, and we're gonna be here wherever. The market كده دايما بيبقى is gonna go somewhere. People, you don't need to wait until the interest rate to go down. There's no really perfect time. It's gonna go up, it's gonna stay there for a little bit. There's no perfect time for it. Do you want to add anything?
So I would say that there is, like you said, there's no perfect time to buy a house. I think about every 2 to 3 years, our market bumps in price. So whatever you're paying now, anticipate in every 2 to 3 years that price is going to continue to increase. Even though the economy right now is a little bit stagnant, but building materials are increasing, so builders are increasing the prices of their homes. The economy, even if there's inflation, that inflation is also portrayed into the price of your home. So if you purchase something now, in a couple of years, it will appreciate. So if you keep waiting, it's like the stock market. You can never time it, but if you keep waiting, you're guaranteed that those prices are going to continue to go up, not down.
Thank you. All right. Uh, we have another question. It says, do you know of any first-time home buying programs that will credit or assist with assistance? Yes and no. You can also, so for example, USDA loans, they have certain programs that will actually help cover some part of your mortgages. The person that you would dive deep, and this is because every situation is different for everybody, would be your lender. They will financially go through everything that you have in your particular situation and be able to guide you to see what are you actually qualified for. For example, teachers, they have a program for themselves. There is VA for veterans. They have a program for them. So it just depends on your situation and what the lender would help you qualify for.
North Carolina does have first-time homebuyer assistance, and state employee credit union offer 100% financing, which means you can borrow 100% the price of the house if you wanted to. No down payment, correct.
Thank you. All right. We also have, I'm interested in buying an investment property. Can you help me with that? Absolutely. We help investors all the time. Um, with the investment properties, again, it's a little different when it becomes an investment loan because they do have a different percentage when it comes to down payments to start with. So you keep in mind that this is not applicable for first-time home buyers versus investors. So it's going to be a little different, but again, we are more than welcome to actually sit. When we're talking investment properties, there's also what is your priority. Do you prioritize renting it? Do you prioritize just leaving to appreciate in a second home? What is your goal? So once we sit down and actually get what is the main goal, we can actually help you and guide you a bit more closer to your situation. All right, we got another one. Let's see. All right, what happens if the appraisal comes lower than the purchase price or offer price? At that point, you actually, the bank is gonna say this is, for example, let's say number. If the home is that you're buying is 425, but the appraisal came at 400. That 25 gap, you actually have to cover yourself, whether it's cash, whether it's different ways, but you have to cover that. The bank is not gonna actually exceed that 400 that they appraised the house for. So you have to be careful with that situation. That's why the banks actually request the appraisal. Oh yeah, of course, and you can always ask the seller to renegotiate the difference. So this is also something that we can always do. All right, we got quite a little bit. All right, trying to study the market to get into the Airbnb business. Any advice or experience with the property that it could be Airbnb rentals? Thank you and for the nice talk. All right, I'll give this to Shireen. It says trying to study the market into getting an Airbnb business. Any advice or experience with property that could be an Airbnb rentals?
Okay. Airbnb is a different beast. So Airbnb are short-term rentals. And there's specific geographical areas in the Raleigh area to do that. For example, older neighborhoods inside Raleigh where they don't really have an HOA. The HOA is so old that they just don't enforce it anymore. When you go out into rural areas, for example, you'll also find that HOA does not enforce it. Most HOAs will not allow Airbnbs because it devalues the property. When you have high turnover and people going in and out, people do not like that, so it devalues the property. They feel like the property is not being taken care of. So the most important thing anytime you're buying an investment property is that you always want to check on the rental policies through the HOA if the HOA exists. If the HOA doesn't exist, then you have, it's open. So I know Airbnb has its own formula, like where you should buy, and it has to be close to certain locations. And it's a good business model if you can find the right property. But if you're looking new construction, typically those will not, if they have an HOA, will not be applicable. Most HOA companies, it's a minimum. The shortest I've ever seen is 6 months to rent, but typically it's 1 year. And Airbnbs, the thing about that is that you have to look and see whether it's profitable. Because of the interest rates currently right now and the rental market, they don't seem to equate. So in other words, because the interest rates are higher, your monthly payment, it does not equal the rent amount. So you're either cutting even or you're going to be negative. And you don't want to do that if you're going to Airbnb. So great places for Airbnb, honestly, is inside old parts of Raleigh, older homes in Durham. Chapel Hill is another one that you can get, especially around the universities. But when you go further out, that's going to be a little bit harder because, like I said, Airbnb has a formula. They like you to be around hospitals or airports or hotels or some kind of main attraction.
See, 11 years of experience. All right, where are we? Is it good to start the home buying process now if I'm ready? If I'm not ready to commit, or should I wait until I'm ready? Well, why are you not ready? Are we needing to go through over the steps? Is it a credit score issue? Am I just afraid to commit? Why are we not ready? So I think this is the main question of what is the issue or that we're going through. And then once we kind of like figure that out, let's do it. Again, it's not an intimidating process. It sounds intimidating, but it's really not. Just take each and every step. And remember that buying home, it's an investment. It's one of the many investments that appreciate and you have an actual value later on. So don't be afraid of it. Time is money. We all want to start, but we're afraid. And it takes just a little bit to do it. Do you want to add anything to it?
It's always good to get educated.
Yeah, I think education really helps understand that and take away the fear factor of it, of why you don't want to commit. All right. If the inspection report shows a huge fix that was not disclosed before putting the offer, can I come back? Can I back out? Is there a way to get my due diligence back? Okay, let's break it down a little bit. So the inspection report shows a huge fix that was not disclosed. That sometimes occur. It happens where sellers don't disclose it or they were not aware of it, and it just shows after on the inspection report. And this is why we do inspection. You want to know الحاجات ديت. Once you figure out what is wrong with the house, you have a due diligence period where you can back out, but you're not going to be able to take your due diligence back. So that's your deposit. That is not refundable. خلاص. The house went off market. You paid the seller. خلاص. That's not going to be back. So you have to be okay with the due diligence money or the deposit money that you're paying upfront. You have to be okay with it, not coming back. But this is why we do inspection period. This is why we do inspection, to be able to back out without losing a lot more money. So think about it that way. Yes, I'm losing the deposit, but I'm not losing the, I don't know, $450,000, $100,000. So it's a little, I know it can suck sometimes, but it's just weigh your odds. How do you negotiate typically? How do negotiation typically go if the inspection reveals issue? Again, it's very similar to it. Um, you you can go request repairs, and if the seller said no, you request credits. And if that doesn't happen, also you have to either tell them like, all right, I don't want it, you can pack up, or if you choose to proceed, you can proceed. What's
I was just thinking about material facts. Do you want to tell me a little bit
oh
more about material facts?
I
Okay. Okay, so basically, I wonder who submitted that question. That's interesting. Um, so when it comes to repairs, here's the thing, is that there's something in real estate called material facts. Material facts is not defined by a certain item. Material fact is basically anything that could persuade a buyer from not purchasing the house. So for example, if we find mold, high levels of radon gas, um, anything that is considered a big ticket item that could say, hey buyer, the buyer's like, I don't want this house, it's too much of a mess. That's considered a material fact. So in that case, if you were buying a house, you put down diligence, you discover something, let's say mold, and we go back to the seller and we say there's mold in this house, and either you fix it or we're going to pull out. Okay? Now, at that point, the seller has the right to say, I'm not going to fix it. And you can pull out. You will lose your due diligence. Let's say if you want that due diligence. Now you have to go to small claims court to get that money back. You do have the right to take them to court to get that money back because that is considered a material fact. However, here's the thing. Normally we do not get to that point because material facts, if you pull out as a buyer and you find something like mold, we go back to the agent. Now, the agent and the seller, once you pull out to put that house back on the market, they either have to disclose it. So the agent has to disclose it or the seller has to disclose it. Does it happen? Sometimes. Have I seen where they don't disclose it and they sell the house? Yes, that's their lawsuit liability. But typically, no. If you find a material fact and you want your money back, they will give it back to you or they will rectify the problem. We should really be doing this in Arabic, right? I would love to do it in Arabic. They would be able to either, you would be able as a buyer to pull out of the deal or the seller would fix it for you. So yeah, you're not stuck with that, but initially you would have to give up your due diligence and then you would have to take them to court. Okay. To be clear on that.
yes, علشان في another question that was saying you mentioned the due diligence is not refundable. If something comes up during inspection, the seller refused to fix it. Did I lose my due diligence? Again, hey, لسه قايلها, like we covered it. If you found material fact, you can request your due diligence. Other than that, you can't. بس like لو في حاجة صغيرة أو حاجة تانية that they can't come to agreement, this is when it comes to this is where the material facts come in. Is it a material fact? Is it not? And if it is, you can take it to a small courts and get a case done on it. All right. I lost my place. How do you negotiate? Okay, roughly how long does the whole buying process usually take from start to finish? Depends on how ready you are. If you are ready, if you have your pre-approval letter, it goes very quickly. So for example, if you are ready, you're financially prepared, you go tomorrow and get a pre-approval letter. Within a few days to a week max, you can get that done. After that, we go house shopping. Once we find your home, we're ready. It's after you go under contract, it's 30 to 45 days and you're ready to go. But it just can't, it all depends يعني على حسب قد ايه وقت انت بتاخد to get that preparation, that pre-approval letter وبعد كده تلاقي البيت. So we're just gonna go house shopping and see. Okay, if it's okay. If the property has an HOA, is there a way to know what the HOA rules before buying? Absolutely. If you are an investor, the HOA rental cap is very important. دي حاجة لازم نعرفها. قد ايه، لان الرنترز بتبقى مسموحة لمجموعة معينة أو بتبقى مفتوحة. ف this is something that you have to know. You want to know your fees, how much are the fees are that you're paying monthly or quarterly or annually. بتدفعها كل قد ايه. حاجة تانية, what does it cover? So in town homes, majority of them cover the roof in the maintenance grounds. بس دي حاجات لو هي مش, if it's on you, you have to know. Does it cover the pool? Do you give an access to somewhere? الحاجات دي تبقى مهمة. So yes, you do need to know what the HOA cover and how much they are, etc. And we figure all that out with the sellers, and we contact the community as well. Will you help me determine how much to offer for a home? Yes, absolutely. That is my role. We do a lot of CMAs. Yes, so the CMA, a CMA is basically taking all the houses on the market that has been recently sold around this community or this area and calculating how much that home actually is worth. We give an estimate. It's not a specific number, but we give an estimate to how much that is. That is exactly our role. We definitely help you figure out what is the best price for you. What should I look for in a realtor, and how should I pick my agent? Shireen, I'm gonna give you that one.
Okay, what should you look for in an agent? And what was the second part?
And how should I pick my agent?
Okay. First of all, I believe when you're looking for an agent, you're going to find a lot of people who are going to want to sell you a house or, help you buy a house. It's not always a good fit. So first thing I say is go with your instinct. If you feel like you're aligned with this person, then definitely listen to your instinct. The pushiness. I know there's a lot of people in our industry who are pushy, and that scares me, so I wouldn't feel very comfortable with that. The other thing is, it's knowledge. It really all comes down in this industry, in any industry, is knowledge. What does that person know? What can they present to you? What can they give you? What knowledge can they give you? Can they answer all your questions? Are you able to reach them? Can they guide you? Do they know people in the industry? Like, do they know an attorney? Do they know an inspector? Do they know what's going on in the market? Can they actually inform you about interest rates and what's coming up locally and what kind of neighborhood is that? So it all comes down to knowledge. If you find someone who cannot answer your questions, cannot explain to you, for example, like what I do is with my buyers, I know my buyers are walking in, they're not thinking about resale. They're thinking this is a beautiful house, I love it, I want my kids to run through it, there's all these amenities. I'm thinking my job is, okay, if you buy this house and it backs up to the highway, then you're gonna have a hard time selling that house. So my job is to look out for your future in this investment, right, as I'm walking through it, because it is an investment. It's a home to you, but for us, you're buying an investment, and we're here to protect you when you're purchasing this investment. So I'm always thinking resale. So those are the kind of tips that I would say if you're looking for an agent, you want to look at that. That's the main thing. Not someone who's going to say, if you don't put an offer on this today, it's going to be gone tomorrow. That may be true, but that doesn't mean that you should go out and buy a $400,000 investment just because someone said it may not be here tomorrow.
Thank you for joining us. All right, do we have any other questions?
Any questions?
All right, well, well, thank you for sharing. Okay, well, that's all we have. Tomorrow we also have a client appreciation event in the pumpkin annual event. Do you want to say the details? It's DJ Berries in Apex. So it's DJ Farm Berry. Wait, what? DJ Berry Farm in Apex at 12 to 2 p.m. tomorrow. Yep, everyone is welcome to come and join us. It's going to be fun. We're going to have little stations. It's going to be really exciting. But thank you so much for coming and joining.